Best places to live in the U.S. in 2022 and 2023. Look at this list. These are, let me leave in the comments below. How many of these in the top 10 have you been to outside of the Bay Area? Huntsville, Alabama has been a very popular location when it comes to investment properties. Colorado Springs, I was actually kind of close to there. I went to Boulder not long ago. People absolutely love Denver and Colorado altogether. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oh, that's interesting. I've actually been there too from a previous work trip. I have been to Boulder. Boulder is very close to Colorado Springs. So Colorado has done very, very well. And it's a great place, great communities to live. And look at this, little old San Jose. Number 5 on the top 10 best places to live. And we'll talk about these ratings in a bit. Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. Lots of people have investment properties there too. Here's a place I have not heard of. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Who has experience here? Tell me if you've experienced it. If you have investment properties there, take a look at the value. Certainly very high. If I took at the value score, 8.3. That's as high as these Huntsville, Green Bay, which means it's probably very inexpensive. You have Portland, Maine. Didn't know about this. But that's great for them. Sarasota, I've been there too. One of the best. I love their beaches. Incredible white sands there. And look at this. Let's wrap up at number 10. San Francisco, number 10 best places to live. And it's certainly an amazing place to live, especially for people that are younger here in the Bay Area. There's so many things to do. We always get poo-pooed on these days in terms of why San Francisco is just this absolutely disgusting place. That's partially true in some areas, but people forget San Francisco is massive. It's like saying Los Angeles is all bad. No, Los Angeles is huge, and there's a lot of places that are very fun and very good. So it's just something important to be mindful of. So that is that. Let's take a look at the methodology. So the methodology of how this is ranked, where did it go? So they actually break it down in several different categories. Number 20% job market index. Well, the Bay Area continues to do extremely well. So they split it by unemployment rate, which is certainly very low in the Bay Area, and average salary, which is actually in the Bay Area. That will help us big time because it's some of the highest that you will find in the country. That's why people from all over the country, along with outside the country, like in India and China and in Europe, come to the Bay Area for the opportunities here. Next, value index. And this is where we scored some of the lowest because on one end, it's the annual housing costs will be some of the highest in the country. That is correct. But we get actually compensated a little bit from that because our annual household income is actually very high. So there is a little bit of a balance, but the value index is weighted at 25%. Next, quality of life index, 32.5%. I would say we're okay here. All right, let's take a look at the breakdown. Crime rates. In those areas, crime is a little bit higher than others. I wouldn't say it's like a gang-infested place by any means, but the crime is a little bit higher in both of those areas, given there's some of the largest, actually, if you take a look at it, there's some of the largest cities on that list. Actually, you know what? They are the largest cities by far on that list. We're talking about multiples. So for San Jose and San Francisco to be on the top 10 on those lists shows just how strong those cities are because I mean, those are like probably maybe 5-6 times larger than maybe the second highest. They're way bigger than a majority of these. Quality and availability of healthcare. This is readily available. San Francisco may be a little bit harder, but it's still quite a bit, especially San Jose. There's new Kaisers across, El Camino Hospital, things like that. Quality of education. I wouldn't say they're necessarily the greatest in San Francisco. There's some very good schools in San Francisco. There is also some very good schools in San Jose. Remember, San Jose is a huge city. So some areas are over 7s. There's quite a bit that are over 7s. Well-being. This is very flexible. A lot of people are generally pretty happy actually living in San Jose. I know that for a fact because I'm in San Jose. And so, yeah, there's so many things to do, whether you want to play golf, outdoor activities, tennis, lots of stuff to do. Commuter index, the beauty of the Bay Area these days is, quite frankly, people may not have to even be in the office that much anymore. The Bay Area has a lot more flexibility than most places in the country, so that has done very well. And air quality index, Bay Area air quality is generally very, very good. Desirability index, 17.5%. This is sold of where they would like to where they would most like to live. So a lot of this house is certainly very can range a lot. At the end of the day, just depends about, in this case for the Bay Area, why they come here. The good weather. It's not as hot as Southern California. Number one. Number two, the job opportunities. Those are very, very important. And number three, quite frankly, is the cuisine. There's so much good food everywhere here, and they're not necessarily expensive. They're actually cheaper than a lot of those places that you saw. I was just in Boulder not long ago. It's not necessarily cheap for food and dining out there. Last but not least, net migration, 5%, measures whether people are moving to or away from each metro area. So what's very important is to note that while people have left this kind of Californication kind of jargon, while people have left the Bay Area and California, a lot of people have certainly moved in, whether it's people from New York, people from Canada, people from overseas. And so at the end of the day, the migration is the same. It actually balances out. All these kind of jargons of U-Hauls, that only works for those that have always been here and have a lot of stuff to move, right? And so those are the people that have lived here for decades. But for those that don't, like they're new people coming in, they're not going to use a U-Haul. You're not using a U-Haul if you came in from overseas, right? That's just how it works. And you may not even use a U-Haul if you're coming from like Canada. It's just too much of a hassle. You may as well just buy new stuff here. So people don't really understand that and realize that. Because the other way you can think about it is, if that was the case, why would home prices rise? Why would rent both rise if people were really leaving? Those are just very easy, common sense ways to just understand the situation. Thank you for watching this short on my YouTube channel. For more shorts, go ahead and click here. For more live streams, you can go ahead and click here. I'll see you at the next one.